السلام علیکم ناظرین، آپ دیکھ رہے ہیں پروگرام ایکسپرٹ ایڈوائس اور میں ہوں آپ کا ہوسٹ شکیل احمد۔ ناظرین، اسٹڈی گروپ دنیا کے اندر یونیورسٹیز پاتھ وے پرووائڈر کا ایک بہت بڑا گروپ سمجھا جاتا ہے، جن کے پینل پہ یو ایس، آسٹریلیا، نیوزی لینڈ، کینیڈا، یو کے اور دوسرے ممالک کی یونیورسٹیز کی پارٹنرشپ ہے۔ آج ہم جانیں گے کہ یہ جو اسٹڈی گروپ ہے یہ ایکچولی کیا ہے، اور یہ جو پاتھ وے پروگرامز پرووائڈ کیے جاتے ہیں، یہ پاتھ وے پروگرامز در حقیقت کیا ہیں، اور خاص طور پہ نارتھ امریکہ کے اندر اسٹڈی گروپ کے پاس کون سی پارٹنر یونیورسٹیز ہیں جہاں پر وہ اپنی اعلیٰ تعلیم کے لیے جانا چاہتے ہیں، وہ اس یونیورسٹیز کے بارے میں مزید جان سکیں۔ تو آج ہمارے ساتھ موجود ہیں اسٹڈی گروپ کے ریپرزینٹیٹیو Mr. DS. Mr. DS, thank you very much for joining us, and we are much obliged that you have given us a time to discuss about study group here today.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be here and to be able to give further information towards our attendees and audience in Pakistan. Just a brief introduction to myself and the study group. My name is Duarte. I'm a study group recruitment manager for the North America division, which include university partners in United States and Canada. Study group is one of the largest private education groups in the world, operating international study centers across different locations such as Australia and New Zealand, United Kingdom, Netherlands, Ireland, and finally US and Canada. So we operate pathway programs for those students who wish to have access to lower entry, not lower, but more flexible entry requirements towards their academic degrees, either postgraduate or undergraduate. However, we are also able to admit students directly onto their degrees.
Okay, that's great. And Mr. DS, if I ask about, as you know, you're representing North America region at study group, and you're continuously in contact with the partner universities there in US. So, I mean, exchange of information is being taken on daily basis. So, keeping in view the situation, what these US universities are planning for coming intake with respect to the commencement of classes in person for student on campuses?
Great, Shakeel. Thank you for that question. So study group, it's a multi-diverse organization. So we have different universities, independent universities within our portfolio. For example, in the United States, we have 10 university partners, and in Canada, we have 12. So each university is located in a different state, looking at the US, and each state has its own policies and health and safety measures to be undertaken by its citizens. So it's difficult to give you one rule applies to all. But what I can say is that the US government and the state governors are doing whatever they can to stop this pandemic. And universities in North America are ready to offer alternative means of delivering classes for their students, local and international students. We all expect students to be able to travel by the fall intake, which is end of August and September. However, the situation is changing every week. And we have set a plan B for international students and even local students that will allow students to start their degrees online. So in case travel restrictions apply, students are unable to process their visas, buy their flight tickets, students will still be able to have access to their degrees. And we are very proud as an organization to be able to provide students online platforms specific to each university partner, where we assure students the quality that they are expecting. With this, I mean that students will be able to assess classes conducted by the same professors that would be delivering the classes on campus. students will be able to earn the same amount of credits towards their degrees, and students will have the same one-to-one interaction with the advisors, professors, and they will be joining the same class cohorts that we have planned. And study group is known for offering international students the ability to be placed in smaller classes so that professors and students can take the most from each other. So all these considerations are being taken into consideration with the online approach.
Excellent, excellent. Mr. Diaz, if I move forward, so you mentioned a word pathways. So elaborate a bit about what are actually these pathways and foundation programs, how these pathways are different from the regular degree programs. So let our audience know the concept of these pathway providers are, as study group has got the partnership with different universities around the globe. So what are these partnerships actually?
So the pathway programs are programs specifically designed for international students. Me, myself, I have been also an international student, and I went straight to a degree. And I found it, I would say, difficult to adjust to the new environment, new education system, new way of learning, new way of experiencing classes, new country, new language, new culture. Everything is new for international students. So the pathway offers international students the ability to be still enrolled to their chosen degree, but students will have access to additional subjects and support. This support that help them to integrate faster into this new education system that international students will face. Some examples are study skills development subjects, which will help students to study at the university pace, at the new education environment. Presentation skills, English for academic purposes, US culture, and critical thinking development skills development. So these are all a group of skills that will help international students to bridge any gap that there may be from students' previous education background and what is expected from them at the university level abroad. Right? The good thing in US is that the pathway programs, during the pathway programs, students will still be able to earn credits towards their degree. So this is actually great news because this means that students won't have their study plans delayed due to the pathway, right? In other countries it's different, such as UK and Australia. As far as I'm concerned, for the US and Canada, pathway programs still mean students are directly matriculated into their degrees, but with additional support.
Great, great. And this is a concept of the pathway provider organization to just facilitate students with an additional courses to just give them an experience to the world-class degrees. So that's perfect. And if we move ahead and we discuss further, so let our audience know about the different universities study group is partnered with in North America, because they just even want to know about the names of those universities that you are partnered with and providing this foundation option for international students.
Right. Shakeel, we don't only offer pathway programs, but we also enroll students directly to their degrees. So for example, if a candidate has education background from an American curriculum high school or a British curriculum high school, this kind of students, they don't need a pathway, right? They will meet the academic requirements, they will meet the language requirements. So students can be directly enrolled onto the degree. So although we are a pathway provider, we also enroll students directly onto the degrees. Answering your question, so we have 10 university partners all across the United States, Starting from the west, we have Western Washington University, located in a city called Bellingham, which is about 45 minutes away from Seattle. It's a popular university for Pakistani students, both undergraduate and postgraduate, and very well known for business-related degrees, supply chain management, MBA, and sciences. In Texas, which is also one of the favorite locations for Pakistani students, we have two universities, which is Baylor University and Texas A&M University, located in Corpus Christi. Both universities offering excellent opportunities for those students who wish to study engineering-related, sciences-related, public administration, early childhood education, and many, many others. A great thing about the US universities is the wide variety of academic choice. So universities offer plenty of academic choice for international students and also local students. We also have a university in Florida called Lynn University, located in Boca Raton, which is 1 hour away, roughly 1 hour away from Miami. Very well known for management-related degrees, such as healthcare, hospitality management, and the highlight is their aviation-related. So there are plenty of aviation-related degrees being offered to international students, including professional pilot license. We also have a university partner in Connecticut, in the city of Hartford, also popular in Pakistan. And Hartford City works as a very good alternative for those students who want to live by New York and Boston. Let me explain you why. So Hartford City is roughly 2 hours drive away from New York and 1 hour and 35 minutes drive away from Boston downtown. We all know that Pakistani students like big cities as well, and New York and Boston are known as being expensive locations. So Hartford is a great alternative for students who wish to have exposure to these two cities, but at a more affordable location. We also have a university in New York City, Long Island University, and we have Lipscomb University in Nashville as well. In Canada, we have Royal Roads University in Victoria, offering a great options for students who want to study either hospitality, communication, business. And we have Stenberg College offering great, I would say, professional diplomas for undergraduate students who wish to have hands-on experience on a certain field. For example, we have students enrolled in a business diploma. We have students enrolled on a postgraduate diploma for nursing, diploma in healthcare, not healthcare, early childhood education. And all these diplomas include 10 weeks of paid internship. So we can say that we have options, alternatives for every taste.
Mr. Diaz, as you have mentioned the multiple universities option for Pakistani students, so students also want to know what is the eligibility criteria if they want to go for foundation program, especially in Canada and US. So let our audience know in general the requirement to go in foundation program. And one thing more associated with the same program, would it be considered year one of their degree or it will be a 0 year?
Okay, great. So when applying for a degree abroad, students need to have in mind the entry requirements, right? And universities' entry requirements vary from institution to institution, vary from degree to degree. But overall, students need to have in mind that they will need to to be academically ready. And by academically ready, this means that students will need to provide proof of their academic background in the form of transcripts and either high school or bachelor degree leaving certificate. So if you are an undergraduate student, you are completing your high school and you want to apply to a university in US and or Canada, you will need to submit. You need to have good grades, and the general academic requirement from this country's institution is a GPA of 2.5. A GPA of 2.5 is approximately 60% on the high school grades, right? And doesn't matter if you have been studying on a Pakistani curriculum, high school, British curriculum, or American curriculum, or any other curriculum. Our admissions team are used to convert high school GPAs from various education systems. So we will convert to the US GPA, and as long as it meets the criteria, students will be academically fit to start the program. Most of our university partners won't require either SAT or ACT exams. So this is actually good news for undergraduate students.
Mr. DS, a pertinent question from student end that, if the universities are directly accepting the application from candidates around the globe, universities are universities individually facilitate students with respect to their admissions for undergraduate and postgraduate programs, then why a student has to choose study group for their higher education? So what is the need of student to connect themselves with study group then?
So we work with a network of education agencies around the world, right? So these education agencies, they represent study group, and study group not just operate international study centers on university campus. This means that study group has its own facilities within this university campus. Study group is also in charge of international students admission and recruitment. So the university is delegated to study group this task. So we have our own admission department located in the US, in Europe, in Asia, in order to give 24/7 coverage to our students around the globe. So that's why study group is important. Students will be submitting applications through our education agencies, right? We have them located in the main cities in Pakistan. And these agencies are very well familiar with the university's entry requirements, required documents, and that's why it's the easiest and fastest way to process an application is through education agency.
Mr. Diaz, what you have to say about the fee structure for various programs for undergraduate and postgraduate in the universities you are, study group is partner with in US and Canada?
Right. So as I mentioned earlier, each university has its own tuition fee, its own scholarship scheme. So this will vary from university to university. But looking at things from a perspective, and this is more to sponsors and parents, if you want to study abroad, or if you want to send your son or daughter abroad, the annual budget, approximate annual budget that will be required, it's about $35,000, right? Mm-hmm. So, and this includes the tuition fees, which will be an average of, which will be ranging between $20,000 to $25,000 a year. Fees are paid on a semester basis, right? So this is great news for sponsors, since there is no need to pay the fees in one go. There are 2 installments at least, and so range between 20 and 25. And then for living expenses, which include accommodation and a meals package, which can range from 3 to 5 meals a day, which will cost approximately $12,000, $10,000 to $12,000. So this is what is most often required by universities.
It's much clear the students need these expenses to bear for a 1 year study and living over there while in US or Canada.
each university will have its scholarship structure. So students will, on the top of that, will be awarded different scholarships. Scholarships can be of two natures. One, merit-based. So scholarships amount will vary according to students' academic performance. So we will look into students' GPA. Or automatic scholarship. Plenty of our university partners offer automatic scholarship to its applicants. And this again will vary from center to center. And these scholarship amounts can go from $5,000 up to $15,000 or more.
Okay, great. Great. So the scholarship availability for a student is around 5,000 and goes up to 15,000 they can avail for an year. So that's a great and good opportunity for a student to avail the scholarships as well. And Mr. DS, as you know, you have mentioned the study requirement at different universities, alongside fee you have mentioned, eligibility criteria. So I mean, what importantly you're optimistic about that when classes are going to be start in person on campuses in US or we can say in Canada?
Right. In Canada, classes will be start in January 2021, at least in British Columbia, where our universities are based. So when it comes to Canada, that is already decided. So classes will be delivered online for the first semester during on this fall intake. In the US, we are optimistic that some states may open their borders and allow international students and visitors to come in. But again, the current pandemic, it's uncertain. The information we have every day, it shows us that the situation is serious in the U.S. The number of infections are high. However, we also see that the government is doing all they can in order to stop the pandemic. So, for the sake of health, safety, I foresee that the fall intake will mostly be conducted online. And as I mentioned earlier, this can be a good news for students. For the sake of health, safety, students can start their degrees from the comfort and from their homes. We'll have some fees waived, such as accommodation and meals. And other fields will be waived, so students will save money.
Mr. Diaz, in the end, I would definitely ask that, a lot of different students here from Pakistan who has not got good grades, we can say, they, due to any reason, but they are looking for direct university admission. So the study group could be the right option for them. But they are confused. They might be thinking that as the universities are closed, so admission process may also get closed at the moment. But what you have to say, the admission cycle, are you accepting the application in this tenure time from Pakistani students, and is the admission flow is smoothly working from your end, or you have stopped the things?
100% fully operated. We have our offices operated. I'm also, as a student recruitment manager, I'm operative. Our admissions team are working non-stop in order to provide students with the turnaround time they expect. If you are an international student and you submit your full application, in 3 to 5 working days, you will receive the offer letter in your hands. We have adjusted entry requirements in order to allow students to still apply. For example, we are accepting online versions of the IELTS, TOEFL, Duolingo. We are offering waivers for postgraduate students where GMATs or GREs may be required. So we are offering waivers. So we have adjusted our admission requirements in order to facilitate students.
Excellent, excellent. So means all of your offices, your admission process is 100% working with the same pace as it was working earlier to the pandemic. Mr. DS, if you have any message for Pakistani students, please go ahead.
Yep. So my message is for students who wish to study their degrees abroad, either undergraduate or postgraduate, is not for them to be dismotivated by the current situation. Universities are adjusting the fastest they can to the current times. The online proposition, it's only an alternative considering the current situation, but of course the final goal for everyone is to have students on campus with us, having classes on a face-to-face basis. So if you have plans of applying, maintain those plans, apply. Offices and admissions are still open. Scholarships are still available, and the success, your success, it's our priority, either online or on campus. And we hope that very soon students will be able to be on campus with us and our teams on campus.
Excellent, Mr. DS. Thank you very much for your time and very productive information for the student. And see you next time. Take care of yourself and the family. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Have a great day. Thank you very much.
जी तो नाजरीन, आपने प्रोग्राम देखा और जिसमें मिस्टर DS का कहना था कि दिस इज़ द राइट ऑप्शन फॉर स्टूडेंट्स विदाउट वेस्टिंग देयर टाइम. वो अपनी जो US या कनाडा के अंदर चॉइस यूनिवर्सिटीज़ हैं उनमें अपनी एप्लीकेशन और आला तालीम के लिए अपने एडमिशन के लिए प्रोसीड कर सकते हैं. और इसमें जो स्टडी ग्रुप के ऑफिसेज हैं थ्रू आउट द वर्ल्ड, दे आर ओपन और वो उसी तरीके से काम कर रहे हैं जैसा कि पैंडमिक से पहले काम जारी था. नेक्स्ट प्रोग्राम में हाजिर होंगे एक नए एक्सपर्ट एडवाइस के साथ. तब तक लिए इजाज़त दीजिए. अल्लाह हामी नासिर.